Hey, welcome back to Past Gas, guys. This week we are talking about Dan Wheldon, a legendary IndyCar driver who tragically lost his life in 2011. This one is a pretty somber one, but we still tried to have a good time. These ones are tough, but if you're a big-time IndyCar fan or want to know more about the sport, this is the episode for you. We are talking Dan Wheldon. Let's do it. It's October 16th, 2011, at the Izod IndyCar World Championship. The blazing Las Vegas sun beats down on the back of driver Dan Wheldon. As a trickle of sweat runs down his forehead and onto the bridge of his sunglasses, Dan mentally prepares himself for the challenge he's about to face. Tall and athletic, with piercing blue eyes and a charismatic smile,
sounds like Zach.
Dan Wheldon is hot off his victory at the Indy 500 and eager to maintain a winning streak. Thousands of IndyCar fans pack the stands, crying out in admiration as he makes his way towards his Dallara IR05 marked number 77. After tapping on the nose of his car 3 times, Dan slides in on the non-gear shifter side of the car, praying that his pre-race ritual will protect and guide him like it always has. But how could he possibly know that he would be getting behind the wheel for the very last time? On that fateful day in Las Vegas, on the 11th lap of the race, Dan Wheldon was killed in a 15-car pileup that left IndyCar reeling. All at once, the world had lost a loving father, a loyal friend, and a legendary driver. But how did this unflappable Englishman break through to IndyCar stardom? How did he turn down the offer to race in Formula One? And how did his tragic death shape the future of Indy? Today on Past Gas, we explore the legacy of IndyCar champion Dan Wheldon.
Past Gas Podcast. It's about cars, it's not about sports.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week, Shopify. That's right. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/gas, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/gas to take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/gas.
Well, we started off with a death.
Yeah, so right away, I don't feel like making many jokes. I thought of a joke, though.
Oh, let's hear it.
Can you imagine dying in Las Vegas, not on cocaine?
I could tell you wanted to say that.
I did. I want to say, not even seeing no naked people or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can't imagine.
No, I can't. I mean, if I died, I've often thought I would maybe die in Vegas, but I'd be on drugs and seeing naked people.
At the same time, presumably.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, really uplifting episode today, guys.
Written by your fiancée.
Yes, Chloe did write this one.
Oh,
yeah,
we
tell
never.
her thanks. It's really well written, but effective.
My name is Nolan Sykes. Goose it. I'm still trying to find that catchphrase.
No, you introduce us, and then I'll introduce you.
Okay. I'm a host, but sitting next to me is Joe Weber.
Yay! Keep it juice.
James Pumphrey.
What's up, all you little tiny animals?
And then speaking right now is our main host, Nolan Sykes.
Main host. All right,
How the hell is he more of a host than
I blew
us?
it already.
He's a regular host.
Goose it,
Yeah.
baby. Goose
A
it. Let's
third
go.
of the host takes
Let's
care of a
goose it.
third of the hosting duties.
That's right. Goose it. All
Main
right.
host? Yeah,
Hell
right.
yeah, buddy.
A hostess with the most.
Around the
bros.
waist, maybe. I gotta hit the gym.
Did you do your phrase?
I said goose it like 50 times
Okay.
when you guys
Goose
are
it.
arguing over.
I run now.
Yeah.
I go on
Do you?
runs. Yeah.
I don't like running.
Nobody does.
No.
Not even people who are into it.
I found when I was doing kickboxing last year, that's when I actually was like, oh, you know what? Cardio isn't that bad if it's really fun. Kickboxing is a lot of fun. You get hit in the head a lot if you're doing it
But
wrong.
I like that the whole motivation of kickboxing, I did some kickboxing earlier this year, is to keep yourself from getting hit in the head.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I'm doing this, but the goal is to not get hit in the head.
Yeah.
Which is
You don't want to
pretty
get hit
cool.
in the head.
Motivating.
But I mean, when you're having fun, cardio is not hard, you know. But
Right.
like, I just find running, I just don't.
Well, you got to get into the fantasy of it, because I pretend like I'm training for not getting hit in the head.
Oh.
I put on the Creed soundtrack.
Oh,
I thought
nice.
you meant Human Clay by Creed.
No, I did listen to Creed the other day, and I was with Riley, and I was like, I think she doesn't know that I'm doing this ironically. But
Down, down,
yeah.
I think I'm falling. Okay.
Because I've also been like listening to Green Day and Foo Fighters and Weezer and stuff, and I think she's like, I guess he liked Creed too.
Yeah.
It would be weird to bring it up now and be like, just so you know, last week.
The other day, you may
When I
have
was
heard
listening
me
to
in the car.
Soothing Sounds of Scott
Listening to
Stapp. I think it just happened when we were when I was out of the country, but R.I.P. to the lead singer of Smash Mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Truly, that sad stuff. Anyway.
22 years ago.
It ain't no joke.
Do you think that someone started his eulogy with like, somebody once told me?
He's like looking down like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, bitch, you got it.
If I was down there, I'd strangle you, and you'd be up here with me right now.
Anyway, rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
And also rest in peace.
Dan Wheldon. So let's talk about Dan Wheldon. The eldest of 5 children, 4 boys and a girl, Dan Wheldon was born in 1978 and raised in Emberton, England.
That was pretty young.
Yeah, confident and determined from a young age, Dan spent his early childhood exploring the lakes and greenery of his small village.
Quaint.
Dan's love for speed and competition was evident early on, as was his deep affinity for cars and motorsport. For those who knew the Wheldon family, this natural interest was not shocking. Though he was a plumber and a heat electrician by the time he had children, Dan's father, Clive...
Cool name.
Yeah, I love Clive.
Clive Pumphrey?
That's sick, dude.
That's pretty
Put that
good.
in your bank.
Yeah. I'm putting it in my mental mansion.
Oh, he's really straining. Oh no.
Dude, too much.
Wow.
I can just remind you. I'll just remind you. When you have a kid, I'll just text you.
Yeah, we can write it down. Are you okay?
It's in my mind mansion. Not going out here.
Also, plumber and heating electrician.
Dude's making loot.
It's a good spread there.
Bank.
Dan's father, Clive, had been a dedicated go-kart driver in his youth, and even met Dan's mother, Sue, at one of the many races where she served as a timekeeper.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
That's a meat cute.
That is a meat
Yeah.
cute.
Meat
What was
cart.
my time?
Meat cart.
I don't know, 8 o'clock tonight at this restaurant?
Oh, shit.
I was gonna say 69 question mark. But yours is cuter about it. Way more appropriate.
It made perfect sense that these two passionate racing fans would produce a child obsessed with making a name for himself behind the wheel. Is that how it works?
What?
Like, if two parents have an interest, their kid also has?
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
You ever met sports parents?
Yeah. His parents.
LeVar Ball?
LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton's kids love reading
Well, I was just going to say...
and pretending to be blind.
If Chloe and I have children, they're going to be car-obsessed musical...
Entertainment people.
Yeah,
People? They're
like
gonna-
me.
You like
I don't
musicals? Do you like thoroughly modern
musicals.
Millie?
Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We listen to that. It's not... I don't-
Do you really?
Chloe will throw on a musical from time to time in the car. So I'm... Little Shop of Horrors, very good.
That's good.
That's my favorite one. That's all I know.
I used to know a bunch of songs from Thoroughly Modern Millie. I wish I could bust one out right now, but I can't.
Interesting show. Anyway, at only 4 years old, Dan continued in his father's footsteps and raced his very first go-kart at 4. Wow. It was an instant rush. A feeling so natural, it felt nearly predestined. Later, when asked about his time as a kart racer, Wheldon would say, quote,
Karting was incredibly intense. Motor racing is all I've ever known. I just got the bug. It was not even like I knew I wanted to do something else.
By age 8, Dan was racing competitively. And by 14, he began racing internationally. This is when people started to take notice of the unflappable Dan Wheldon. He was often described as gregarious, youthful, brash, confident but likable, or as the Brits might say,
A cheeky devil.
that's right, baby. As his talents blossomed, he made a name for himself in open-wheel racing, even developing...
What?
What?
What did you
I
say?
don't know. dude.
Developing?
Developing.
Damn, you sound like a baby talks.
Yeah. Even developing a rivalry.
You do a whole episode talking like babies.
Our subscriber base just...
I feel like there's a
It is what-
weird fetish group that
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
it's our
Love
biggest
that.
episode
Yeah.
ever.
I'll talk about cars like a baby.
even developing a rivalry with fellow racer and eventual F1 champ, one Jenson Button.
Which was on DRS.
He was on DRS. Got to talk to
Go
him.
check that episode
a really
out.
big highlight of my year so far. By his late teens, with 8 national titles under his belt, he was only just getting started. 8 titles, dude. This kid's the GOAT.
Goat.
But as his career began to take off, Dan began to feel a little unsettled. He had the grit, talent, and charisma to become one of the greats, but how the heck would he get there? At this point, Dan was still fully supported by his family and money that he was able to bring in from various races, but it was not enough to accelerate his career. To fully achieve his ambitious goals, he needed more. Dan needed sponsors, and he knew the U.S. racing circuit could grant him the opportunity to get them. But could he leave behind the home he had known his whole life? It was time to decide. What legacy did he want to make for himself? Wheldon's career trajectory was heavily influenced by his racing idols, one of whom was Rick Mears, a renowned American racing driver and 4-time winner of the Indianapolis 500. Wheldon respected Mears' accomplishments and looked up to him as a role model for success in American open-wheel racing. Dan also held great admiration for Nigel Mansell, a British racing driver who achieved success in both Formula One and Indycar and also had one of the best mustaches of all time.
Mansell. If you've ever seen The Wild Thornberries, Nigel Mansell starred in that as the dad.
Mansell's tenacity, versatility, and fierce competitive spirit resonated with Wheldon and inspired him in his own racing career. These athletes, among others, played a significant role in shaping Dan's racing aspirations and fueling his passion for the sport. He knew that to follow in their footsteps, he would have to make a name for himself in America. At 19 years old, he decided it was time to take a chance on his career and move to Los Angeles, baby, for show business. No, he just moved to the U.S. At 20 years old, he decided it was time to take a chance on his career and moved to the United States in 1999.
Dan's transition into American racing seemed to go off without a hitch, starring Will Smith
What is that?
and Kevin James.
Yeah. The King of Queens.
What do they call that?
And Eva
Mendes?
Longoria? No, Eva
Mendes. Yeah. Ryan Gosling's baby mama in Hitch.
Oh.
Yeah. So
There
Remember that
you watch
song
it
that
sometime.
he wrote for that?
Who did?
Will Smith wrote a song for Hitch.
Really?
It's called Hitch. It was on Now That's What I Call Music 18 or whatever.
Was it like, I'm a hitch, I'm a superhero,
No.
hitching people? Oh, no, that's a different one.
That's Hancock.
Hitch is,
Hancock.
That's Hancock. Hitch is like the same as Ryan Gosling's movie, Crazy Stupid Love. Kinda.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. His engaging personality and ability to connect with fans and the media contributed to his marketability, and this reputation was key in attracting support for his racing endeavors. He was also able to find sponsorship from John Bedos and Van Diemen, the owners of J-Hard Primus Racing.
Oh, Wheldon was a race car driver. He drove so goddamn fast.
Van Diemen is a pretty sick name.
Van Diemen is a sick name.
Van Diemen.
Yeah, it's like kind of rockabilly.
Yeah.
A little rockabilly.
Boonga, 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 boonga,
Van
boonga,
Diemen,
boonga,
I play bass for the Misfits.
boonga. Dude, have you seen that? Is it the bassist that looks insane? Von
Misfits,
No, that's
Frankenstein?
you're thinking
Pretty
of
good.
yeah. Von Frankenstein's the guitarist,
Oh,
and
dude.
he actually started as a like a roadie for them, and then
He's
started playing
insane
guitar.
looking.
He would fill in on guitar. He played his first show at
he's
the
yoked?
Misfits at no, I don't think he was yoked yet,
They're all yoked.
but he played his first gig with the Misfits at like 15 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And he's like super vegan dude, too.
Yeah, but like when you're super vegan, but also are clearly on like PEDs, like what does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, it means you are judgmental. But while his professional career was taking off, his personal life hit a wall. Dan had always been close with his family and found it difficult to maintain a relationship with them from across an ocean. He spent the first 3 months of his career flying back and forth from the U.S. to the U.K., and the jet lag was beginning to eat away at his focus and performance. Bedos and Diemen had put their trust in him, and he felt he was letting them down. If he wanted to win, he would need to fully commit to his new life across the pond. And commit he did. In 1999, shortly after attending Woodstock, his first year in America, Wheldon competed in the U.S. F2000 National Championship, a junior open wheel racing series. He impressed in his rookie season and won the championship title. Following his success in US F2000, Wheldon moved up to the Toyota Atlantic Championship in 2000. Follow the money. Driving for the PPI Motorsports team, he finished second in the championship stand. Grow up.
I can't.
Second in the championship standing, securing 3 race victories along the way.
Nice. He did it all for the pee-pee.
Did it all for the pee-pee. What? The pee-pee. What? So you can take that diggy and stick it up your whoo, stick it up your stick it up your stick it up your
Pee-pee.
I did it all for the pee-pee. What? The pee-pee. What? So you can take my pee-pee and stick it up your woo, stick it up your woo, stick it up your woo, stick it up your
Sounds like an owl.
woo, woo, woo. I saw an owl the other day, dude. Those
What?
things are
What
sick.
was it
kind?
doing? Was it chilling?
Now that I'm running,
Yeah. You're seeing a lot more
I'm
birds.
outside a lot
Yeah.
at night,
Oh.
and it's sick.
Oh, I thought you were a mouse and I tried to eat
Yeah,
you.
it's a giant Mothman.
I want you to take a good look at me and say anything would think I'm a mouse. If anything, I thought I was a wizard, some sort of
Oh,
warrior.
that's why he came and delivered a letter to
He
you.
was like, woo,
Woo, man. Woo.
I've seen 2 meteors
Whoa.
recently.
Whoa.
I saw an
There
owl.
might be Starlink satellites that's coming back into the
I
atmosphere.
I was immediately like, okay, it was cool to see that, but I hope I don't start seeing like a bunch of
A
them.
bunch of them,
And then they all fall down and we die. But things would really kick into high gear when in 2002, 24-year-old Dan Wheldon was offered the chance to drive the number 15 Pennzoil Dallara Chevrolet for Panther Racing.
Panther Racing.
Nice.
This wasn't just any race. This was Indycar.
That was a great mountain lion, by the
That
way.
was so good,
Yeah, that
dude.
was sick. Do it again.
I was gonna try to do. I was gonna
Nice.
try to do it, but there's no way I was gonna get close
Follow
to
that.
Yeah.
Follow that.
I quit the Panther business.
Oh, man. Go! Finally, Dan had the opportunity to follow in the steps of Rick Mears, Nigel Mansell, and all the other Indy inspirations. Dan was poised, ready, and hungry for the opportunity to make his mark on IndyCar history.
Let's go, dude.
In 2002, Andretti Green Racing was looking for a test driver for their IRL car, the first of its kind to incorporate a Honda engine. Did I mention I've seen Mario Andretti?
I was waiting for
Yeah.
it, dude.
Impressed by his skill and ambition, AGR signed Dan on as their test driver. While he loved the team, Dan was gunning for an opportunity to race in the 2003 season. But once again, sponsors would be an issue. Without the proper funding, Dan would have to sit out the season. However, one driver's misfortune would turn out to be a windfall of good fortune for Dan, as Dario Franchitti broke his vertebrae in a motorcycle accident only a week before the Indy
God,
Japan 300.
What great luck!
Why are you... Okay, this is something I bring up all the time on DRS.
Yeah.
Race car drivers,
Stay
off the motorcycles and bikes during the
Don't-
season. What are you doing?
Don't ride a horse.
What the hell are you
Don't
doing?
ski. Don't do anything.
You get to do the sickest thing every week. What
Yeah.
more could you
Yeah.
want?
Yeah, it's the one thing that might be nearly as cool as a fighter jet.
Yeah. You
Because
drive a
it's on the
fighter jet
ground.
on the ground.
Yeah.
It has wings.
Yeah. And you get free clothes.
Yeah. Most importantly, you get free clothes.
All the
Free
flat brim
clothes.
hats you want.
Yeah. I bet you get free Panera.
Probably.
Free
Sponsored by Panera.
hospital food.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you think he's going to go? Who do you think's going to be a good team in 2024? You think Red Bull or Mercedes or Panera?
Panera, dude.
Go to Panera. Just like
F1.
entered F1 like
Yeah.
hard.
Like Audi Panera F1. Yeah.
And they just had like their livery was just like their menu.
Yeah. This is like a terrible looking car. But they're like good.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I don't want to root for Panera again
Don't
this
wanna
year,
look
but
at Panera. It's like, I don't know, man. I
Yeah.
It almost sounds Italian too, like Panera.
Panera.
Yeah.
Panera. Yeah. Panera Pininfarina.
oh yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, dude. Panera. Get a let's start an F1
You could have
team.
so much sandwiches. in the craft.
Scuderia Panera.
That's a shirt.
Scuderia Panera. The livery, your helmet could just be broccoli cheddar soup.
That would be funny as
Yes.
hell, yeah.
Sick.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. You ever have stress dreams that keep you up at night? Like I had a stress dream last night where I was trying to basically shoot an impossible episode and I couldn't get it done, and I woke up stressed and it kind of dampened my whole day, to be honest. Well, it turns out one great way to make those racing thoughts go away is to talk them through. Therapy gives you a place to do that so you can get all those negative thought cycles out and find some mental peace. I think everyone should do therapy. Don't make your spouse into your de facto therapist. Find a professional to help you talk through it. And I think BetterHelp is the best way to get into therapy if you've never done it before. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. You don't have to be in an office or wait in a waiting room. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Get a break from your thoughts with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/passgas today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/passgas. Thanks, BetterHelp.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week, Shopify. We move a lot of merchandise here at Donut Media, all those t-shirts and hoodies and all the other awesome apparel available. How do we get it to you? Well, we use a little service called Shopify. Start selling with Shopify today. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. Whether you're a garage entrepreneur or IPO ready, Shopify is the only tool you need to start, run, and grow your business without the struggle. We use Shopify here to move our apparel. We even have a Past Gas t-shirt available on our website, and you can get that all thanks to Shopify. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. 10%! And Shopify is truly a global force. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/gas, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/gas to take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/gas.
Were the helmets sick in the Japanese Grand Prix?
Yes,
They were.
dude, Alonso had
the samurai
one.
He has that tattooed on his back.
Yeah. Kind of weird.
Yep.
Lewis had a whole chrome helmet.
That was
I
sick.
like that.
Have you
Yeah,
seen
the
the
chrome
press
one.
photos of it?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Daft Punk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I wouldn't wear a helmet.
No.
Or I'd do a clear one.
That'd be
Ooh,
some
clear would be
innovation there.
sick.
I don't know if you could.
Because there's
Carbon
padding
fiber, yeah.
inside it. Too.
That'd be kind of sick, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Honestly,
Not
not
gonna
gonna
lie,
lie.
dude.
No cop.
Could be sick.
No cop.
Wheldon's debut season with Andretti Green Racing proved successful as he showcased his skills and secured his first IndyCar race win at Twin Ring Motegi. Hey.
I meant to bring this up in the last episode, but it's called Mobility Resort Motegi.
That's sick.
The official name when you Google it.
Do they have a spa there?
Probably.
Do they have prime rib?
Probably.
Do they?
Then it's a resort.
Mobility computer.
It's your brain, dude.
Mobility computer, dude. This victory and his overall performance throughout the season solidified his position within the team. In 2003, when Michael Andretti, whose dad I have seen in his underpants, retired, Dan stepped in officially as their third driver. Hey, Michael, I seen your dad in his undies.
Weldon,
So what, you want to fight about it?
Weldon's warm and outgoing personality allowed him to forge meaningful relationships with fellow drivers. He was especially close with Brian Herta, Scott Dixon, Tony Kanaan, and Dario Franchitti. He was finally finding his footing and solidifying himself as an essential part of IndyCar racing. So, it was time to prepare himself for the big leagues, the Indy 500.
You're in the big leagues now, buddy.
You're in the big leagues now. Remember those little leagues?
That was child's play.
Those little leagues with child's play. Now you're in the big leagues with the bad boys. Bad boys for hire.
In Dan's first Indy 500 in 2003, he spun out on lap 187. His car hit the outside wall, flipped, and landed upside down, but he survived and took 19th place. In 2005, things went a little differently. The race took place on May 29th, with Dan starting from 6th on the grid. Throughout the race, Dan showcased his talent in racecraft, gradually working his way to the front of the pack. As the laps wound down, a thrilling battle for the lead ensued between Wheldon, Danica Patrick, and Vitor Meira. And at the time, Danica Patrick was a prominent figure in the IndyCar series, breaking barriers as one of the few female drivers competing at the highest level of open-wheel racing in America. We've done a whole episode on
Check
her.
out that episode.
Check it out.
Check out that app.
This led to what the
Check
fans...
out that app. Oh, don't come to me if you're crying about it.
You're in the big leagues now.
That's what.
Crying.
Yeah.
Not cool in the big leagues.
That's for child's kid.
Yeah.
First grade,
like,
second
Coach, what
grade,
the-
third grade, fourth grade, that's all fine down there. But now you're in the big leagues. These leagues are big. Hence the name.
It's like your grandpa giving you a pep talk. He doesn't know what baseball is.
Yeah.
I feel like that's most dads of like our generation. At least my dad, like, didn't know how to play sports, but like did not stop him from really coaching me.
I have thought about that. I know, right? I have thought about that where it's like, I haven't played baseball in like 30 years at this point when a kid can play. It's like, I don't know the basic mechanics of baseball.
Yeah, my dad didn't have Google. It's not like my dad was like looking. He's not going to the library and be like, okay, I don't want to tell him anything wrong. He's just like, you are bad. You are doing it all wrong.
Did your dad ever coach you?
Not as a coach, no.
You see all those players sitting down over there? They call that the gutter. And if you don't play well, you go sit in the gutter.
There's alligators in there. I read an article about like that's one of the things that's holding soccer back from taking off in America is that none of the
Parents
American
don't know what the
dads know how to play soccer,
That makes
and
sense.
like the way that American dads just like one, they won't learn how to play soccer
Yeah.
because they don't need to, I guess, to coach it. And so like their instinct is just like chase the ball, go get the ball, go get the ball, go after the ball. But that's not
They
how
don't
you
understand the
play
mechanics.
soccer. Yeah.
I have no idea.
So like just kids who grew up playing soccer in America are just not good.
I was today years old when I found out you don't go after the ball.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
Punch the ref.
Punch the ref. Be aggressive like me. I'm not mad about it.
With just 7 laps remaining, Wheldon executed a remarkable outside pass on Danica Patrick, taking the lead and seizing control of the race. He managed to stay in front, crossing the finish line to claim his first Indianapolis 500 victory, becoming the first English driver to win the prestigious race since Graham Hill in 1966.
Damn.
Damn.
The win marked a significant milestone in Wheldon's career, propelling him to the forefront of the IndyCar series. But ironically, most people forgot about that victory that day. They were still talking about Danica. Wheldon took this in good humor and was later photographed in a t-shirt that said, actually won the Indy 500.
That's pretty funny. That's a lot of effort. That's like not that funny. That shows that he was like very upset about it if he went.
That is...
like, I'm going to have a t-shirt made because the
And this
lady
is-
got more
Yeah,
press.
this is back in the early 2000s too. Like that took some effort, I think. Screen
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, at least one phone call.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
means he was like
I'd
pretty
be
upset.
so nervous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously he wasn't going entirely unnoticed. Offers were flying in for Dan left and right. In 2006, he decided to drive for Chip Ganassi Racing. Later that year, he revealed that he turned down a spot on the BMW F1 team,
A what?
feeling they couldn't guarantee him enough time in the car. Quote,
I do love Formula One. There's no doubt about it. It's what I grew up knowing. But I felt none of the offers were good enough in order to leave America. They couldn't set anything out in stone to give me that opportunity.
wow. Most racers would jump at the chance to race in F1, but Dan lived life by his own rules. This fearlessness was a defining quality of Dan both on and off the track, and it was this kind of bravery and unwavering dedication that earned him the moniker
Lionheart!
Hell yeah.
In the midst of his racing success, Dan attended a promotional event for his sponsors. It was 2006. He was hot off his first Indy 500 win, and fans had just voted him IndyCar's most popular driver. All eyes were on him. But that night, there was only one person who he wanted to impress. One Susie Bem. Susie was becoming a bit of a hotshot herself in the world of motorsport marketing and PR, and had been hired to put on the event. Dan was immediately impressed by her ambition and focus, and after a few more months of running into one another at racing events, he hired her on as his personal assistant. It wasn't long before their professional relationship turned into a romantic one.
I love when Me Too works out.
Mm-hmm. And the two were married in 2008. Susie was an incredibly important part of Dan's career, usually working behind the scenes to arrange their minute-by-minute schedule, traveling with him and the crew, all while caring for their two young sons, Sebastian and Oliver.
Those are very British names.
The most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sebastian. Seb is a cool name.
Sib.
Seb Pumphrey.
There's a
I
skater
said
named
Clive.
Bastian Salabanzi.
Who is that?
He's a skater,
Oh,
but I
that's a
always
cool
thought
name.
Bastion was a cool name.
Bastion, like Never Ending Story. Never Ending Story is like that silent movie where the moon is in it to Gen Z.
Where he gets like he gets like stabbed in the eye with a lunar lander.
I want Joe. I want you to do like a VO pass on that movie. And when the moon gets hit, he's like, "Ow!" You could do a good ow. I think.
There's no dialogue in it.
I know, but
I know. Let's
this is
do a
like
riff
this
track.
is like that I think you should leave sketch where I make
Yeah. What the?
Despite the difficulties of life on the road, they just seem to really dig each other. Dan absolutely loved being a father and a husband. When asked how they make it work, Dan credited Susie for all she had done for him, saying, "She understands that this is all I've ever done. She knows that racing creates the personality in me that she loves."
That's cool. It helps that she's part of the racing world too, so she interfaces with a lot of these types of people.
Mm-hmm.
The 2011 Indianapolis 500 was a race filled with excitement, strategy, and a dramatic finish. Wheldon's regular team, Panther Racing, didn't have a full-time entry.
Like that rat-tat-tat song.
They really do
That
sound
sounds like
that.
a race car and a Panther mix.
Yeah, dude, that
yeah.
song is so sick. Also, rat-tat-tat is one of the best names for a band ever.
So good. And their
Rat-tat-tat.
album artwork is amazing.
Yeah.
Panther Racing didn't have a full-time entry for the race, so Dan partnered instead with Brian Herta Autosport.
Brian heard of Autosport. Brian, you ever heard of Autosport?
If you look up a list of the most dramatic Indy 500s in history, this one usually makes the cut. The race was jam-packed with drama. It began. Okay, let's get in the
Set the
mindset.
scene, okay.
It began with pole sitter Alex Tagliani leading the field. Throughout the race, various drivers took turns at the front, including Danica Patrick, Dario Franchitti, and Scott Dixon.
Drama.
Suddenly, with 2 laps to go, J.R. Hildebrand, a rookie driver, found himself in the lead, with Dan Wheldon closely behind him in second place.
Oh, drama.
But on the final lap, Hildebrand appeared poised for victory as he approached turn 4. However, as he attempted to pass Charlie Kimball, Hildebrand made contact with the outside wall, damaging his car.
Oh, drama.
Wheldon swiftly capitalized on the opportunity, overtaking Hildebrand and crossing the finish line to claim the win.
Oh, my God, drama.
This dramatic turn of events made the 2011 Indianapolis 500 a race to remember, and Dan's victory solidified the bond between himself and Herta. The two developed a deep mutual respect and friendship through their shared success, and their collaboration proved to be a pivotal moment in both of their careers. Dan held his trophy high, dedicating the win to his mother, who was in the midst of a battle with Alzheimer's. Wheldon's victory marked his second Indy 500 win, and he was now officially a legend.
Mere months after his second Indy 500 victory, Dan Wheldon was selected to drive in the $5 million GoDaddy IndyCar Challenge in Las Vegas in the final race of the season. If he won, the $5 million GoDaddy prize was to be split between Dan and a fan selected via a Verizon wireless contest.
And a free website from GoDaddy.
My God, what a convoluted concept.
That is crazy.
The $5 million GoDaddy prize to be split between Dan and a fan selected via a Verizon wireless contest.
Cool. So you had to enter a contest to potentially win a contest? Mm-hmm. And then your hopes are on a driver in like a huge field of cars.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yep.
That means...
Oh, no. Whoever... It feels like it doesn't matter who the driver was.
It doesn't matter who won.
Oh,
if you won and the driver won, those are two separate things.
It's not like Dan has one fan.
No, I know.
It's like a fan gets chosen, then no matter who wins the race, they get half.
Yeah.
He has to win the race.
No.
If he won.
If he doesn't pick the fan, it's
I don't think every driver had a fan connected to him. I think it was just like, oh, if anybody wins.
You guys, I realize
if Dan Wheldon wins the race, then the fan wins half the money.
I just realized we're like the dads trying to explain sports that we don't understand to our kids.
You gotta be aggressive, James.
Yeah. You gotta be aggressive. Go to the ball.
Get after the ball, dude.
Based off this one sentence, I know it's this.
Big thank you to our sponsor this week, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They're the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, watch out for the fins, baby, you're in deep water. You pick more than or less than on a 2 to 6 player stat projections and then watch the winnings roll in. That's right, Prize Picks is the most fun you can have, winning up to 25 times your money this football season. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. That sounds pretty easy. Speaking of easy, Prize Picks is really simple to play. You can make your picks and submit your entries in less than 60 seconds. This week, we're picking Saquon Barkley for more than 60 yards and Patrick Mahomes for more than 2 passing touchdowns. I mean, dude, Saquon's thighs are bigger than my torso. Dude can freaking squat a house. So go on down to prizepicks.com/gas and use code GAS for a first deposit match up to $100. Go to prizepicks.com/gas and use code GAS for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Thank you, Prize Picks, for sponsoring the show. Big thank you to our sponsor this week, Chime. Do you have a summer anthem? How does this one sound? Summertime and building credit's easy. What is Chime? Well, Chime has their Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card. It's a better way to build credit, as in you can build your credit score safely with everyday purchases and on-time payments. Plus, there's no annual fee, interest, or credit check to get started. That's right, there's no annual fees, interest, or credit check to apply. You can use this Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card everywhere Visa credit cards are accepted. And you build credit using your own money. Some other benefits of a Chime checking account are that you can get paid up to 2 days earlier. That's right. With qualifying direct deposits, you can get access to your money sooner. If you're just starting out building your credit, Chime is an awesome option. Start building your credit up. Open a Chime checking account with at least a $200 qualifying direct deposit to get started. Get started at chime.com/gas. That's chime.com/gas. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by Stride Bank N.A., member FDIC. Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. On-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Late payment may negatively impact your credit score. Results may vary.
This challenge was a new feature in the last race of the Indycar season, as CEO Randy Bernard was eager to revitalize the franchise with a new format. As the press conference wrapped, Dan joked, "Thank you for the opportunity, but please don't expect any flips like Travis Pastrana does." Because I'm not into that.
Huh. A little foreboding.
Yeah. On October 16th of 2011, thousands of fans arrived at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, eager to see if Dan could continue his winning streak. Tons of fans' favorites were set to participate in the race, including Danica Patrick, Dario Franchitti, and James Hinchcliffe.
The Hinch, man.
The race was held on a 1.5-mile oval track and featured a grid of 34 cars.
That's a lot of cars on that track.
Yeah, dude. Which is one of the largest in IndyCar history. Grand Marshal Tony Hawk.
Yes.
Oh, Birdhouse.
Yeah, dude. The Birdman. gave the famous orders. Gentlemen, start your engines. That's my Tony Hawk. And just like that, the race began.
Wow.
The race started with high expectations. Within the first 10 laps, Dan had moved up 10 places. Dario Franchitti was in the lead, and fans were enjoying themselves despite the glaring Nevada heat. Unfortunately, a catastrophe was about to ensue. On lap 11 of the 200-lap race, a massive 15-car crash occurred in turn 2. The accident was triggered by contact between the cars of Wade Cunningham and James Hinchcliffe, causing the chain reaction pileup. Many cars were launched into the air, with some hitting the catch fence and others catching fire. One of those cars was Dan's Dallara IR05. Viewers in the grandstands and watching at home looked on in horror as Dan's car flew into the air, rotated, and struck the catch fence posts along the track. This was all broadcast live on ABC. The race was paused as officials took stock of the damage, at which point the broadcast cut to a solemn announcement from Randy Bernard. You could hear the emotion in his voice as he broke the news to racing fans that Dan Wheldon did not survive the crash. As his airborne car had flipped into the fence, a catch post sliced through it, striking him in the head and causing unsurvivable blunt force trauma. He was 33. The race was canceled. In honor of his passing, they immediately organized a 5-lap salute and displayed his racing number 77 at the top of the scoring pylon. In an emotional send-off, the racing world mourned the loss of a devoted family man, a loyal friend, and a legendary driver.
Damn.
Yeah, it's
Dude, that is...
I watched the video of this wreck just kind of like in preparation, and I mean, the whole thing is on like not just the crash, but also like the kind of race delay and everything. It's like an hour long plus, and like I wouldn't advise watching it. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
As you can tell in our voices now.
But it is on the internet if you want to watch it, but don't.
Don't do it.
IndyCar hadn't experienced a loss like Dan's since Paul Dana in 2006, and it is unusual to see a pileup of this nature in the IndyCar Championship, but this was no ordinary race. To fully understand why the tragedy occurred, it took months of investigation. The first things experts looked at was the amount of racers on the field, okay? In order to spice up the race, second-year IndyCar chairman Randy Bernard had issued a challenge, a $5 million payout to any moonlighting driver who could win the race. This attracted participants from all over the open-wheel racing community, some of whom had limited experience driving in an IndyCar race. The next issue was the design of the track itself. Randy Bernard selected the Las Vegas Motor Speedway because he wanted to attract more fans to the event by selecting a resort destination. But while the brightly lit themed hotels of Vegas are perfect for a bombastic getaway, it turns out the Speedway was less than ideal for IndyCar. The shape and size of the track was all wrong for an event of this magnitude, and because of the format change, there were 34 races on the track. The high-banked 1.5-mile oval simply didn't allow enough space for this many drivers. Add on to the fact that these racers typically drive at 210 miles per hour or more, there would be little time or space to move around competing vehicles. So now you have too many people with varying levels of skill packed tightly into an arena that was not built to handle that many cars at that fast a speed. Another factor was Wheldon's position within the race itself. Because of his recent Indy win, Wheldon was said to have an unfair advantage in the $5 million challenge and was made to start the Las Vegas Indy 300 in the last row. He had moved up from 34th to 24th in the first 10 laps when the accident occurred. This meant that he was towards the back of the pack when the accident happened, without enough room to maneuver past the pileup. And finally, there was the matter of the car itself. Though not the fault of IndyCar, there are some safety features that we have today that they didn't even have back in 2011. In their 2020 season, IndyCar debuted the Aero Screen, a safety device designed to protect the driver's head in open-wheel racing. It's basically like a big, thick windshield.
It's not like a halo?
It's like a halo windshield thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Without the Aero Screen or similar feature, Dan was left in an extremely vulnerable position during his flip because it was basically car and then his head.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. whereas now there's a bunch of stuff protecting drivers. Finally, Wheldon...
Which was really controversial.
I know, people were... It's stupid, yeah.
No, the halos are going to ruin this sport.
Yeah. Finally, Wheldon had been the first test driver for a new IndyCar model, the Dallara chassis nicknamed the Safety Cell. Touting a prototype road course body kit and powered by a 2.2-liter Honda V6 engine, this vehicle included upgraded safety features, including upgraded seats and headrests, and an innovative new cockpit they hoped would be safer, and bodywork that was meant to eliminate wheel-to-wheel contact. This model was later rebranded to the DW12 in honor of Wheldon and his contributions to its development, but this was not the car that he was driving in the race. One of the things that makes this an exceptionally hard accident to stomach is that Dan Wheldon did everything right. He drove exceptionally well that day, he had good instincts, and yet there were circumstances out of his control. Ultimately, his death emphasized the importance of safety and prompted a thorough evaluation of safety measures in the sport.
The reaction to Dan Wheldon's untimely death sent shockwaves throughout the racing community. The news of his passing sparked an outpouring of grief, with drivers, teams, fans, and officials expressing profound sadness and disbelief. Tributes poured in from around the world, highlighting Wheldon's talents, personality, and the positive impact he had on the sport. Many praised his skill, sportsmanship, and infectious smile, recognizing him as a beloved figure both on and off the track. Over 1,200 guests attended his memorial at the First Presbyterian Church in St. Petersburg, Florida. In a letter of farewell, his wife Susie wrote, "My sweet Dan, my whole body is aching, down to the deepest part of my soul. I just want to wake up and hear your reassuring voice." His sister Holly wrote, "My brother was truly one of a kind. Dan without racing is like a cup of tea without milk, and Dan loved tea." In 2011, Dan was posthumously awarded the Gregor Grant Award for a lifetime of achievements in motorsport. The award was accepted by his father, Clive and Dario Franchitti. Mere days after his death, the Gold Coast 600 would debut the Dan Wheldon Memorial Trophy to be awarded to the international driver with the best aggregate finishing position. This had been previously an unnamed trophy. He is truly memorialized by one of his top rivals but dearest friends, Dario Franchitti. Franchitti won the Indy 500 the year following Dan's death and Dan's own Indy 500 victory, and touted a pair of white sunglasses in his late friend's honor. When asked about winning both the year prior to and following Wheldon's win, he said, "To be on either side of Dan, that means more to me than anything. Vegas last year was the lowest of the low, but the reason we all got back in the cars, the reason the mechanics got back in pit lane, the reason the fans came back to the races is the emotion of days like today." 5 years after his death, Andy Halberry and Jeff Olson published Lionheart, Remembering Dan Wheldon, a 210-page coffee table book filled with tributes, stories, and accolades from Dan's closest friends and family. Some of these stories praised his skills on the track. Some of them described nights celebrating a victory. Tony Kanan describes a particularly heated race where, thinking Tony had cut him off, Dan pulled up along him and flipped him the bird. It's raw, real, and 100% Dan.
Dan Wheldon was a talented and charming driver who left an indelible mark on the world of motorsport. In addition to his 2 Indianapolis 500 victories, he achieved a total of 16 wins in his IndyCar career, firmly cementing him as an IndyCar legend. Dan Wheldon's legacy exceeds far beyond his remarkable accomplishments on the racetrack, though. His untimely passing served as a catalyst for change, prompting a renewed emphasis on safety in motorsport. Wheldon's memory is carried forward by the racing community, which remembers him as a talented and fearless driver who embodied the spirit of competition. Through the Dan Wheldon Foundation, his philanthropic efforts continue to make a positive impact, furthering causes dear to his heart. His legacy also lives on in his family. His wife Susie and his 2 sons, Oliver and Sebastian. His now 14-year-old son, Sebastian, is carrying on the racing business and recently won his first career race in race 1 of the Skip Barber Formula Race Series at Virginia International Raceway. Good job, Seb.
Nice.
There you go. Sad story.
Sad story.
I didn't realize how young he was.
We got some listener mail. Hey there, donuts and donuts.
Hey.
I'm Tanner, and to start off, I'd like to say that what you guys do is absolutely awesome. Pass Gas is the first podcast I ever listened to, and I listen to it almost every day since.
Wow. Thanks.
I also started watching Hilo with my girlfriend, and she liked it so much that it was her pick of shows to watch in the following nights. All of your content is great, and it keeps me company at work and on drives.
Nice, dude.
Thanks, guys, for all you do. Anyhow, listening to you guys talk about lawnmower incidents on the Lucy Shell episode of Past Gas reminded me of a story from a family friend. He was strolling behind his push motor in flip-flops one seemingly normal summer day. The safety flap at the back of the mower had been removed, leaving an open path right into the spinning blade. I think you can see where I'm going with this.
I sure can, Tanner.
He stepped just a bit too far forward and was shocked to watch one of his toes exit the mower free of his foot.
No.
Now adding insult to injury, his dog.
No.
Yes, his dog had been waiting in the wings for God knows whatever reason and swooped in to swallow the dearly departed digital.
No.
Nail and all.
No.
Oh my God.
Dude.
Nail and all. It was never to be seen again.
Wow.
Now, the gentleman, the moral of my story is never trust a mower, a guy in flip-flops,
Okay.
or a dog.
Oh.
Thanks again, guys. Keep it fired up, juice heads. Sincerely, Tanner Z.
Wow. Dude, I'm chasing my dog if I see him.
Cap.
Yeah. Cap?
No way, dude.
What do you mean?
No, that's one of those situations where you're like, give it to me.
Yeah,
And you like stick
give
your
my
finger
toe.
down his throat.
I don't think a dog. This guy's lying.
Oh, you think you're calling? Okay, I thought you were calling Cap on me chasing
No,
down
dude.
a little
I
dog.
do not doubt that you would try and get your toe
It
back.
would be
brother.
hard though, because your toe is missing. You need that big toe.
I know.
Running.
You do. You do.
I don't need my big toe.
No,
Yeah, you do.
yeah, you do.
Yeah, you
For
do.
what?
Your big toe and your pinky.
Walking.
Your big
I've
toe
seen
and
your
pinky.
steps counter. I've seen your
Yeah.
steps counter. You know. Can't get
Actually, no.
31,000
I've heard that
steps
people
without a
who
big
lose
toe.
pinky toes and big toes,
You remember the number.
it really affects your walking ability because your pinky and your big
all
toe
about
are
my
what you
steps.
like balance the most on. Actually,
Your big one.
your big and your pinky.
Oh,
So you don't
pinky
need the middle
too.
ones.
You can get rid of those. Yeah,
That's,
do that.
that's what my foot's gonna look like.
yeah. Could we sell our toes?
If anyone wants to buy our toes,
You wanna
you
buy
can
some toes?
email us,
I'm
or
trying
if
to
you
get a
have
down payment
if you
going.
have some listener mail, if you want to write us an email, or if you want to buy our toes,
Yeah.
we're accepting offers at passgas@donutmedia.com. And let us know if you want us to read it in a baby accent.
Thank you, producers Christina and Gavin, as always,
And our
Nick
writer,
over there,
Chloe
and Chloe
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Chloe Rodriguez,
Chloe.
soon to be Chloe Sykes.
Maybe.
Maybe
We're still figuring out
we
what we
talked
wanna
about
do.
it.
Yeah.
My last name's not even on the table. My last name's not even on the table. Stupid last name. So we're just gonna change it.
I like your last name. I don't know why this keeps coming up.
It's a goofy name.
It's cool.
It's stupid.
No, it's not.
It's
no, it's
dumb.
not. I used to think the same thing about my name, and now I
Yours
love
is tight. It means yeah, right.
it. Yeah,
Your
we're
last name means
psycho.
yeah, right.
All right, that's been the show. Thank you
I'm
so
taking
much.
suggestions for last name change. I'm thinking. So right now, my top ones are Rothschild or Getty.
What about honor the guy who write in and have it be Tanner?
No, James Tanner.
James Tanner.
It's like a freaking Full House. Yeah, right. I'm thinking Vanderbilt, Rothschild, Getty, or Gotti.
James Gotti.
Yeah.
And you start wearing a pinky ring.
Dude, maybe should I change my name to Gandolfini?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right, whatever. Bye.